Hey guys, Moneyman300 back for some more videos here, and we're going to continue on with our Forza 6 overview series. And this time what I wanted to do is just talk a little bit about the overall features, kind of a catch-all type video, just to run down a lot of the things that have been announced or already shown, just at a high level features, not diving into any one specific area very deep, because I kind of want to do that in some different videos, cover single player, multiplayer a little bit more, the tracks and cars in some more depth, and maybe some of the more pertinent features in a little bit more in depth. But what I'm going to do is just kind of go over a little bit of a list of the things that have been announced thus far, and just the things that we or I, or whoever knows about, kind of a collective community thing as you try to collect information. First off, I wanted to clarify a little bit around the release dates, because I didn't make it clear in the last video around release dates for other countries. So just to cover that one more time, September 15th in North America and most of the Asian countries, with the exception of Japan, which is September 17th, September 18th in Europe, Africa, and the Middle East. And the Ultimate Edition that I mentioned, that gets you the game 5 days early, but actually gets it to you, that's true for North America. It's actually even 7 days or 8 days early for those of you in Europe and other places, because everybody that has the Ultimate Edition gets it on the 10th. So I just want to cover that a little bit, so that's even maybe a little bit more of an incentive for those of you not in the United States, and you want to get the game a little bit earlier, since the United States, or at least North America, is getting the game just a couple of days earlier than other countries. That's pretty typical with games that are released or done by studios in North America. So anyway, just wanted to cover that piece. So let's move on. Let's talk about some of the features in the game, and let's talk a little bit about maybe some of the things that aren't in the game to start with. So let's get that out of the way. There is no multi-monitor support, at least not out of the box the first day. There's nothing specific for the Kinect, which there really wasn't for Forza 5 either. No Oculus Rift support or any VR support yet, although that is supposed to be coming in 2016. There has been a report that there's a potential that will be coming out. There is no auction house storefront. So for people that were buying for that to come back, I'm not one of the people that was particularly hung up on that point. I know a lot of people liked it, and there were people that didn't, and it was somewhat controversial. I honestly didn't like the way that economy worked. I thought it was abused easily. I know there were some cool aspects of it. I know it was cool for the painters and the tuners to be able to go out and sell their stuff. I didn't mind the way they did it in Forza 5, although I wish that it was better. I wish it was easier to find and group tunes and liveries and things like that, and for people to be able to showcase maybe their own little storefront, for people to browse. I also hope, and I haven't seen yet, my guess is it's the same in Forza 5, but I'd love to be able to do open source tune, share a tune open source, so that you could get an open. So if people like myself, I'm not worried about competitions and things like that. I'd just as soon be able to open source share my tune and have people see the things that I've done. I think it's a great way to learn for people that are starting to learn. It's a great way for people like myself to share the information that I have and other tuners out there. Just be able to share it in an open way. I understand the need to protect it, but it'd be nice if I could make a choice, maybe make the default locked, and then I can make a choice whether to open it or not. But I'm hoping that's in there. I haven't heard, to be honest, one way or another that it is in there. But as we're talking about tunes and libraries, one thing that is in the game is the ability to bring over your libraries and your tunes from Horizon 2 and Forza 5. The libraries I see, the tunes are going to be interesting. That leads me to believe that tunes are as much build specific as anything else. In Forza 5 and probably Horizon 2, I didn't play as much of that. The build matters as much, if not more, than the tune. So that all the engine swaps, all of the turbos, all the pieces and parts would have to be the same for me to bring a tune over. It doesn't do me any good to bring a tune over from a, say, a Ford GT if the engine swaps aren't the same, or for probably even more for an Evo with the 1.6 rally engine. I mean, all the different, 5.7 swaps that were in there, if all that's going to be the same, I'm kind of hoping all that's not quite the same, because it got a little bland there in those middle classes when really, if you weren't doing a 5.7 swap or a 1.6 rally engine swap, it was hard to be, a little bit difficult to be competitive, with the exception of a few cars. So that's going to be interesting to see how that works. I'd just soon start from scratch. I think that, if there's, especially since there has been some significant tire adjustments, the way tire wear works and the way that tire physics works in general, I don't know how applicable the tunes you bring over are, but it's nice to have. I could bring one over and play around with it and see how well it works. If nothing else, but just to play around with. So that I think that's an interesting aspect, that you're going to be able to bring those things over, and really from Horizon 2, which to me was completely different from a physics perspective than a Forza 5 or what I would expect Forza 6 to be. I can't imagine that those tunes are going to be particularly usable, but I guess we're going to find out. Sorry, take a drink of coffee here. It is early in the morning. I'm trying to get up early, like 5:30, to get some videos done. I just haven't, with the lack of time that I have, and I'm thinking it might work out better if I just get up early and do these. So I do have to have my coffee. Assists, all those things coming over, going to be the same, roughly. The Drivatars continue as well. There is a new professional option that is supposed to make them act a little bit more on the professional side. Although I think that the further in avatars they got better. So there is that in there. Also, let's get into a couple of the big features: night and rain racing. So those are two new things, completely brand new things to the Forza Motorsport series. Obviously, Horizon had that. I kind of consider that a different series. So there is going to be day. Of course there's going to be day. There's going to be nighttime racing. There is going to be rain racing. There's not going to be night rain racing. There are also not going to be day-night cycles or rain-dry cycles. It's going to be either day or rain or night. But I think it adds a cool dynamic to the game. I'm not one that was clamoring for it to start with, but I think it's cool. It'd be cool to do some night races. Rain, depending on how they do it, can be really annoying. And then how you balance that with how, in single player with how Drivatars act, we'll see. It depends on how they do the physics. Driving on ice sometimes isn't that fun, and that's what rain could potentially feel like, depending on the way they implement it. It doesn't sound like it was too bad. There is some hydroplaning effects. There is puddles. The puddles, it looked like to me, were going to be predictive, meaning it's always in the same corner, always in the same straight. It didn't change from, from lap to lap, like a puddle here, and then there's a puddle there. So it was very predictive, and you could. But to me, that's a little bit annoying, because now I got to drive outside the optimal racing line. But I think it's cool that they're included in there. It should be interesting to go through and do some of that. So same damage and things like that. The tuning, a lot of things are going to be very similar to Forza 5. I mean, you could think of this as Forza 5 plus a whole bunch of other stuff, right? And I don't mean that as it's like Forza 5.5. It's certainly with the physics, some of the physics changes they're making, the tires, the day, the night, definitely warrants being Forza 6. So please don't take it as that. But when I say Forza 5 plus, it's everything and all the good things that Forza 5 is, plus a lot of other features, more cars, significantly more cars, more tracks, and other features. So there is no league support. So or I shouldn't say no league, no club support. So there are not racing clubs and things like that. I know that'll be a disappointment to some people. There is something that's called League, and I'll probably get to that in the single player, multiplayer. It's not what you would think of it in the general sense of leagues, like you go organize a league and you guys go drive a series and things like that. It's more of, for those of you that play Call of Duty, played Black Ops 2, it's more along the lines of that type of league support, and where it's a multiplayer option, an area, or hoppers, or set of hoppers, however you want to term that is going to group you with like-skilled players. I don't know that I've seen tons of exactly how that's going to work. If it's going to be a, bronze, silver, gold, masters type of thing, for you guys to feel familiar with the Black Ops 2 and the way that they did their leagues. It was kind of cool, though. Competitive type settings with competitive people that had that in there. So I think that's going to be interesting. I think it's going to be fun. I think it give a new dynamics. Also, something else to make videos about going into league play and really trying to ramp up your play out there. So it sounds like the PI class system is going to be very similar as it was in Forza 5. There's not going to be, along with some of the storefront and the other stuff, gifting is not in there, which is disappointing to me. I want to be able to, and maybe there's reasons for it. I don't know off the top of my head, but I would love to be, especially for some of the newer players. I got friends that might get into it and want to play, and I'd love to be able to gift them some cars to get them started, right? And maybe it's because it's something that's easily abusable, which I could see. Not having to go through and grind. People could just give cars away, but is it really that? I don't know. Is that really that big a deal? To me, it's not. Maybe to other people, it is. But it's not in the game, so it doesn't. At this point, it's water on the bridge. Doesn't really matter. The economy again is going to be credit based, very similar to what you have in Forza 5. You take credits and you buy your cars and things and your parts and all those things with credits. Those credits are earned through in-game. The rewards, Forza Rewards, is also still out there, and there is a bunch of rewards that you can get for playing, just like before, playing and owning cars in Forza Horizon 2, Forza 5, and previous games. Big tip, just go buy a bunch of cars. I'll cover that one in another video. We're going to talk about the things that you get in the Forza Rewards section, but I think it's like you want to own 300 cars in each game, though. So, if you want to go buy, and if you haven't got there and go buy a bunch of cars, I'm probably just going to play Forza Horizon 2 a little bit just to buy a bunch of cars out there. So, there is... they did mention spectating in lobbies, in multiplayer lobbies, and I don't know if that was in League only or if that was at any point in time, but I think it would be really cool that if you were in a hopper, and sometimes you can wait a little bit to get to the next race, that you have something to do. Now, there's 3 things that I would like to be able to do in there. Spectating would be cool. If you got friends in there, you can pop in, you can watch and see how the race is going. So that would be fun. Tuning. I want to be able to tune from inside the multiplayer, more than just slap a tune on. I want to be able to go make a couple of adjustments to the car in between races if I need to, or build a car right there while I'm still in the hopper without having to back completely out of multiplayer. Let me build up a car real quick while I'm waiting. You can do that. The other thing is let me race. Let me do some warm-ups. Now, they said that warm-up laps are included. I don't know what that means. I don't know if that's in between or if there's going to be a couple of minute warm-up period on the track that we're going to race prior to the start of a multiplayer race. So I don't know. They did say that there's no qualifying laps, but there are warm-up laps. But I'm not quite sure yet how the implementation of those warm-up laps are going to work. So that'll be cool. Different things here. I have a whole, and I jotted down a bunch of notes. I'm trying to look through here to see if there's no tokens and microtransactions this time, that they did early on, which it didn't really go a whole lot because it was pretty easy to get credits, but you could essentially buy cars with real money by buying tokens and then using those tokens for in-game credit on cars and things like that. So, one thing I left out, streaming to Windows 10 is supported in Forza 6. This is going to be an interesting thing. Now, I don't know that for me it's that big a deal because I have like a setup at my desk. If you're watching a setup video where I've got my PC and my Xbox all together. Now, if I had a PC upstairs or maybe I had a Surface Pro, or some sort of laptop run Windows 10 that supports streaming. So what that is you basically play your Xbox game on your Windows 10 PC. It's still playing on the Xbox One, but it streams the video up through your PC, and also you can use your controller, which the Xbox controller is supported on Windows PC. You can use your controller then to control the inputs, and the PC will pass the inputs back across your home network to the Xbox One. So that's going to be interesting to see how that works. Now, in a game like Forza, or in a shooter game where it really requires precise precise movements. We'll see how that works. We'll see if there's any input lag there or video lag there as it streams that video. There has to be some, right? The physics involved in networking require there's going to be some latency inherent there in that streaming process that is more. I mean, we go by gaming monitors to reduce the latency to near zero as we can, and it's going to definitely increase that. So it may not be for that application, but I could be maybe sitting on my couch upstairs on a laptop or on a laptop type device like a Surface, and maybe be tuning and doing a little bit of testing with the car and building cars and things like that. So I think that's pretty interesting. I think the whole streaming aspect of streaming games to Windows 10 PCs in general is going to be interesting. And as I speak, I believe today, the 29th, is the day that Windows 10 starts rolling out. So for some people, different topic for a different day. So let's see if I left anything. I'm sure I did. I'm sure there are a few things that I haven't completely went over. Wheel support. Obviously, there's wheel support in there, controller support for the new Elite controller, including paddle shifting on the new Elite controller, as well as a full customized sets of controls for Forza 6 on the Elite controller. Logitech is coming out with a new. Is jumping back into the console game, is going to have a new wheel out. So I may have more on that later, but that is going to be supported. So wheel support, all of those things. And I think that's about it. Looking through the rest of my notes. Get out there, get your pre-order in, especially if you want that Ultimate Edition. You want to get it a few days early. You can get it on the 10th with that, on September 10th. This is right around the corner. I mean, we're talking, today at July 29th, we're getting inside of 6 weeks before this is coming. So, got to get out there, get your pre-orders, get ready. I got to finish up this series, so we're all ready to go. The next ones we're going to talk cars and tracks, and I'm going to get in more depth in single player and multiplayer, and trying to think if there's any other. I may do some more videos if some more information comes out. So, anyways, I'm going to wrap it up with that. Thank you for watching, as always, and we'll catch you guys in the next one. Later.